welcome to another episode, to this week's episode of Nerd Variety Podcast.
What's up?
Hi.
Yeah, we're all here.
We are here.
We are
Here
all
we are.
here. And apparently we do not get introductions today, which is what I was actually waiting on.
Yeah, I know.
You are getting introductions.
There's just
it's
weird
fine.
silence there. It was really awkward.
Yeah, it's fine. Josh, we missed it. You missed your mark. Let's just
No.
right
Introductions is all.
I'm Hunter. This is Hannah.
No. You're
That's
doing it
Josh,
wrong.
so-
You're doing
I
it
don't
wrong.
have any haikus prepared today.
You're doing it wrong.
No.
You're doing it wrong.
Mm.
Wrong. I am Josh, and I'm joined today by Hannah Hates the Fall Hogan.
Hannah, why do you hate the fall?
I know, right? We finally got it, and you hate it.
What?
He's not responding, so I guess he really does hate the fall.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about fall. Fall's all right. I definitely do not like pumpkin spice lattes. And
Well,
that's definitely the worst thing about fall.
yeah, they're
Well, that's just because Starbucks and anybody ever affiliated with them is terrible.
I don't. That seems a little
that's
extreme.
a stretch. That's a stretch there, but pumpkin spice is definitely kind of overrated. And we also have Hunter, Fresh Funky Rhymes Rapidity.
Yes. Just take his word for it. I have fresh, funky rhymes.
I mean, I'm sure
I'm skeptical.
everyone wants to hear something. One of these days. It doesn't have to be today, but one of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days, yeah.
Straight to the moon. Never mind.
Anyway, so
Random
how's everyone doing today?
I'm good.
We're waiting for audience feedback, actually. That's what we want to
okay.
hear.
Sorry. I'll be quiet.
So we're going to be quiet until we can hear audience feedback. Okay, that's not working. No one's
Wow,
saying anything.
you guys sound great. You sound great. So animated.
We love you too. We're glad that you're doing well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very glad. Very glad.
Are you keeping yourselves occupied with the goings on of the country and the world?
Who wants to pay attention to that?
Honestly.
Yeah. You should just entertain yourself, and there are plenty of ways to do that. One is watching a long-running animated TV show.
What?
Yeah.
You know, that sounds familiar.
It's almost like that's the topic for today.
That is the topic for today.
Oh,
You
good
win
job, Hannah.
nothing.
I kind of hate us right now, like all of us.
You
That's
get
fine.
nothing. You lose.
All right.
Good day.
This week we're going to talk about those. We're going to usually kind of go by, episode count and season count. There are, you can also look at shows that kind of go into franchises. They usually have one series and they spin off to another series, but we're not really going to talk about them per se. But these shows that have been around for, have had, definitely more than 10 seasons and countless episodes. I made a list, divided them by mature and all ages, 5 for each. Let's see if the other two can guess the ones from each list.
Well, so I want to first clarify. I'm assuming we're not talking about anime.
No, not talking about anime.
Because
Animated shows, not
anime tends to go on a long time. There's some of them that are incredibly long.
Yeah.
And let's not talk about those.
We're not talking about those this week.
Okay.
But let's see. So give me what's a long-running mature animated show?
Well, so when you say mature, there is one that, I would say started out way more mature than it has ended up these days, which is The Simpsons.
Yes. The Simpsons have gone on for 31 seasons now.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
31. Yeah. They have 684 episodes. Okay, Josh, I did have the list right in front of me before you said not to use the list. So that's on you for not warning us beforehand.
Well
I knew they had 31 seasons, though.
I want to look at a list now.
No.
Okay, well, after I name off all the TV series, which Hunter probably can already see them, but
actually, apparently, that's not the one with the most episodes or seasons.
Well, I'm looking at Western animated TV
not
TV
East Germany
animated shows. No.
West Germany. Because there's some weird German show that I've never heard of that has
we'll save those for next.
It's like it's 190 seasons and 45,390 episodes.
I don't think that I can't see them going. They're not doing it by year for sure. I'm sure that's they may have some really short seasons.
Yeah, it's probably
or some short episodes.
Yeah,
but
maybe. I don't know. Never mind. Stop letting me interrupt you.
Yeah, stop it. Hannah, give me a show. Give me a all ages show.
The Scooby-Doo.
No.
But it should be.
It you would think that, but no. I mean, it probably has there as a franchise. Yeah, it probably has a lot of.
Okay, so as a franchise, it's different from because there's been a bunch of different ways that Scooby-Doo's been redone over the years, and that doesn't count.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm right. I just didn't understand the parameters because you didn't explain them all enough. Cool. All right, now we're on the same page.
I said by episodes and seasons, but not franchises.
Well, I didn't. SpongeBob.
Okay. Yes, there you go. SpongeBob. SpongeBob is going.
That has been
20 seasons strong.
12.
Okay.
More than
feels
3.
like 20. Well, 20 years, 12 seasons.
Definitely more than 3.
Yeah.
262 episodes.
Good Lord.
And apparently it's still going. I haven't actually kept up with that show. Probably past season 1. Maybe 2. I don't know. Whenever the first movie was, I think.
Yeah. The first movie was 2004.
Which to me, it still feels weird having to refer to the SpongeBob movie as the first one.
Yeah. They've made more and with varying degrees of interest for me. But yeah, and a good rule of thumb for most people, the first 4 seasons of SpongeBob are the best. Just those are the ones you really need to watch.
Yeah.
What's another mature show that would be?
Well, one that actually I think is kind of funny that went in the opposite direction, I guess you could say, of The Simpsons and started out a little less mature and has gotten more mature as time has gone on, is South Park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I was allowed to watch South Park back in the day.
For me, it wasn't so much. I don't think that I wasn't allowed to. I just didn't. It took me a long time.
Yeah.
Took me over 25 years.
Yeah.
And counting.
Yeah. And counting, yes.
Yeah. Hannah, what's another kid show? Can you guess?
Bugs Bunny.
No.
Was Bugs Bunny a show?
He's up there.
There's a Bugs Bunny and a Looney Tunes.
I mean, I knew there was Looney Tunes.
They're kind of like an anthology.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know how far down on
PBS.
these lists you're looking at going. I actually mentioned one to you on the
Arthur?
I said think PBS.
I said Arthur.
Yes, Arthur, yeah.
I've never watched Arthur, so.
You never watched Arthur?
No, it wasn't allowed.
And apparently it's still going on.
We talked about this.
I didn't realize that it was still going on.
I think I'm still shocked.
Because the kids in Arthur were rude to their parents, and my mom was like, nah.
I do remember that discussion.
Gotcha. Now
it was like, you can watch The Matrix, because nobody in The Matrix is rude to their mom. But Arthur,
I don't know that anyone in The Matrix really has a mom.
Well, therefore, no one is rude to their mom. And to my mom, that was really important.
Agent
Which I think
Smith
is
was
fair,
probably very
honestly.
rude to his mom.
Actually,
you could make a point that Agent Smith was rude to his mom because he tried to take over the machines from within the Matrix, and the machines made him a program, so they, in a way, were his collective mother.
That's a good point. I'll talk to my mom about that.
Well, now she's not going to be able to watch the show anymore, Hunter. Come on.
Now I'm an adult and I can watch what I want.
Exactly.
Oh, I would hope so.
Go watch Arthur.
Go watch another mature animated show. Give me another one, Hunter. Give me one she should watch.
Well, okay, so
I'm not gonna.
I know you're not gonna. So one that I enjoy. I don't think I've seen it for quite a few seasons now, but one that I enjoyed for a while was American Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, American Dad is up there. I was surprised at how many seasons
Yeah, it's
it's amassed.
17
Yeah, it
and
just kind of
almost 300 episodes.
yeah, it just kind of flew by underneath everybody's radar.
Well, it's kind of like the the redheaded stepchild of Family Guy, you could say.
No, that would be the
Or that would be
Cleveland
the
show.
Cleveland show. Yeah.
That would be the
That would be
Cleveland
the
show.
Cleveland show.
Yeah.
Because
Oh.
yeah, I mean, American Dad again was another Family Guy thing, kind of.
It wasn't a spin-off, but it
it
was
wasn't
kind
yeah,
of
it wasn't so much a
similar.
spinoff, but it was another one of his shows, of Seth MacFarlane's shows,
Yeah.
and you can definitely tell.
Yeah. It took off with that kind of irreverent humor, but enough gags and funny characters to make it last for so long. And you mentioned, another one on the list, Family Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family Guy. Family Guy is also up there.
Family Guy has survived being canceled and came back because of DVD sales, which is something you won't hear about today. And I keep thinking that it's going to end any season now, but it's still they just keep on going.
Yeah. It'll survive the apocalypse.
Yeah, but at least 2020.
That's what I said. Yes.
Yeah, and give me the last one on the list, Hunter, for long-running animated shows.
Well,
you know this one.
I'm not sure if you're looking at the same list. I have a big Wikipedia list right here, and there's those that are still happening. So there's some. The next highest one, I think that at least I'm familiar with, that I would not call a kids animated show, is probably Robot Chicken. Although actually, it looks like Bob's Burgers has just a few more episodes.
Actually, you're not. I was expecting you to say Futurama.
Futurama, unfortunately, has not had as many as like Bob's Burgers or Robot Chicken.
It's had more seasons though.
No, well, and actually, this was something I was thinking about. Futurama is one that's particularly tricky because I think it was canceled 3 times.
Yeah,
and brought back, and so it depends on how you count seasons. The Wikipedia page right here counts it at 7 seasons. I think I've also seen it upwards of like 13 seasons.
Well, I mean,
and I can explain why without even looking at the Wikipedia thing. First of all, again, there were all the times it got canceled. Actually, let me see. So, original network apparently. Yeah, it ran on Fox from 99 to 2003. And then between 2003 and 2008, they did a few movies. They did 4 movies. Bender's Big Score, The Beast with a Billion Backs, Bender's Game, and Into the Wild Green Yonder. And so sometimes, like, I've noticed on some streaming services, you'll see those counted as maybe collectively as 1 season. I think on Netflix, that's what they have it as now. All the movies are just split up in different parts. You may also see them, I'm less sure about this, you may see them somewhere as each movie split up into different parts, and then each movie counting as a separate season, which would not, that's weirder. And then eventually it was picked up in 2008 by Comedy Central and ran until 2013. So it was around for 14 years, but only had 7 seasons, again, listed on the Wikipedia page, and 140 episodes.
Okay, because that got me, because I never heard of them being made into, they were released as they had movies that were released as, like, they were Futurama movies released. I just heard about seasons, and you just never saw any sign that okay, this is the Futurama movie. Go see it in theaters, or it's going to air on TV later this year or something like that.
Yeah. Actually, let me see.
But you said Robot Chicken as a kind of an adult anime show that's run like concurrently for how many years now? How many seasons?
Yeah, so there have been 9 seasons so far of Robot Chicken, and it looks like it's still in production, which I'm happy to see that.
But you said Bob's Burgers had 10 seasons?
Yeah, so Bob's Burgers has 10 seasons with, and it's weird that on this list that I'm looking at, why Robot Chicken is placed above Bob's Burgers. Because Robot Chicken had 190 episodes and Bob's Burgers had 194 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Bob's
Burgers just barely beats it out.
Yeah, and Bob's Burgers is another like sneaky one there because I feel like it hasn't been around that long.
That's what I was thinking.
I guess they've just been pumping out episodes. They've had long seasons and
they
haven't really episodes.
They haven't really had long breaks between their seasons. They've been a pretty consecutive 10 years. I still think of it as a rather new show.
Yeah. It's like it's kind of its middle point there.
Yeah, and actually, because I think it came out around because I don't think it started when I was
between 2011 and 2013 I think is when it came out.
Yeah, okay. I'm seeing January 9th, 2011. I was thinking it was when I was in college, actually, but I guess it was the year before I started college.
Yeah, well, you would have noticed it in college. But
yeah. No, actually, no. I definitely noticed it in high school because it's one of those that I started watching like when it was new, and I got excited for it. And I remember it because I did the same thing with Archer, which has also been around for a while now.
Yeah, not as long as the other ones, but it's been around.
Yeah.
Hannah, I had 3 more all ages shows. I wonder if you could guess them.
Nope.
We can give you some. Have you heard of Cyber Chase?
I was actually just looking at Cyber Chase.
Yeah, that was another PBS show.
I didn't realize that it was still on.
It's not. It's a. I think it had 10.
According to what I just found, it's still going.
Well, it's still airing, so it's in syndication. But I remember watching that back in the day. But and I was surprised at how long it lasted.
Yeah. I just found that, but I was like on a different site, so it was hard to compare lengths. But
yeah,
I was into Cyber Chase. It's completely right up my alley,
content-wise.
Right.
Kids fighting a computer program.
It's a sci-fi computer math
world.
thing. Yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah,
I've played all the games on PBS as a kid. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's also another Cartoon Network show. Well, I think a couple of Cartoon Network shows. Care to guess what they are?
I've seen Ed, Edd and Eddy show up a few places and searching here.
Didn't last as long as these 2.
I'm trying to remember one of the ones I saw. I don't remember.
We have TMNT, the original one.
Okay.
Lasted 10 seasons. And then we have a more recent one, Adventure Time.
Yes, I saw that. That was on a list. I've never really watched that show.
Me neither.
Yeah,
but it's on HBO Max, so I'm going to check it out. And
it definitely has a really big fan base. I know it has a really big fan base.
It's kind of funny. I think I have an Adventure Time t-shirt that I got in a Loot Crate a while ago, and I wear it every once in a while because it's a comfortable shirt. And then people ask me like, "Oh, what's that shirt?" It's like, I think it's Adventure Time.
I don't remember.
I think it's Adventure Time, but I have no idea what any of it means on my shirt. But
yeah. But it's on my list of things to watch. Yeah. So what do y'all think helps a show stretch out for so long? Like going,
interest
from like 10 seasons to hitting 10 seasons is one thing, but hitting 31 is something that's still kind of, not a lot of shows have touched that yet.
So I think that what you see with sort of the big ones are things like The Simpsons and Family Guy and South Park. And I've not really watched much of any of them, but they seem to have a sort of common thread, which is the ability to remain really relevant by making jokes off of like current events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's definitely something that I feel like gives a show longevity.
Yeah, so I'm not again, I haven't really kept up with Futurama in a long time, and I'm still making my way through The Simpsons. I think I'm in season 15, so I'm about halfway there now. I at least know that South Park does a particularly good job at staying relevant. They did I think it was a documentary quite a few years ago now, probably more than I would think. It's called 6 Days to Air, and it was about how, and I think their production time has changed, but there was at least a point, if not still continuing, where they would make sure that they would have a new episode out like every week, and like they would make it within that 6-day time frame so they can do very relevant content, push out extremely relevant content. Like
I would also assume that they're not extremely linear. So like
they are.
Right.
Well, so like there are certain shows that like have a story to tell, and when the story's over, they're just like, okay, that's it, right? And I feel like a lot of us feel Avatar was that way. Right? Like Avatar should not have gone on for 31 seasons, right? Like they had a story and they told it and that was it.
I thought
but Avatar I feel like
had
for 31 seasons.
I'm saying it did not go on. Should not have gone
on. That was very
it would be terrible if it went on that long.
I was confusing to phrase it that way, Hannah.
It was good that they kept it to 3 seasons.
But shows like SpongeBob, sure, Adventure Time, and all the adult shows are, well,
there's not as much of an overarching story. There might be some
things back up again.
You could very easily just watch a single episode and be like, okay, I more or less know what's going on here.
That's pretty true for South Park, except something that I think is interesting in the last few years or so. Again, probably more than I'm thinking, than I feel like, but they've started this thing where they have a very continuous thing, and they did it a few times in older seasons, but especially recently, more recently they've been doing that, and I thought it was funny because they particularly point out in an episode, someone mentions something like the second episode about something that happened in the episode before that, and Stan just makes a comment because they're being just really mean to everybody when they were leaving, and then they came back and someone made a comment, it's like, oh, I thought I was like, you were too good for me, and everything. It's like, when did everybody start suddenly remembering everything that happened?
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that there was never an overarching arc to those stories, but it's one of those, there's types of shows where you can very easily just sit down and watch a single episode, and even if you recognize that you don't have all the backstory, still thoroughly enjoy it. And I feel like those are the types that go on for a long time, where if you have to watch every episode in order to understand what's going on, that one's not going to be as easy to just pick up.
Yeah, right.
That's very fair.
Yeah, you have shows that like I know Family Guy brings up a lot of recurring like characters, and they have their own little plot threads they go through, like Stewie with his half brother Bertram. Their whole fight. American Dad has Ricky Spanish as a recurring character that kind of I guess it's more of an episode about Roger and his personalities, or we'll do like a 2-parter, and that's what kind of gives like, so you get some sort of storyline through that, but usually they go for the one-offs, and that's perfectly fine. But
and I think it's kind of interesting. Sorry if I'm just kind of interrupting you here. I'm going to continue either way, but to me it feels like, and I would not have really thought to make this connection much earlier, but to me, I'm thinking now, it does kind of feel like comic books, because you'll have some arcs, and especially as someone who hasn't been reading comic books their whole life, I will read certain story arcs that I think are interesting or I've heard about, and I'll go read those, and if you've ever read these comic books, most of the times you'll find somewhere in the arcs, at least, they'll reference older events that happen. They'll say like, yeah, this happened in Detective Comics number 43,876 back in whenever. And it's like, okay, so you had an event that happened, and apparently it was significant enough, but I can still read, understand, and enjoy this one without having read that before. Because if you try to follow that trail, that's going to take you forever. And it's
and I feel like anime is that way sometimes too, where like you have an overarching story, but they also have smaller arcs, and you could very easily just watch one, and it's 15 episodes, and they might reference other things, but you can't just watch like that section by itself. And as we talked about earlier, anime is one of those things that also they just go on forever.
Yeah.
So
a good rule of thumb is loose continuity for animated comics and animated shows. Shows.
Yeah, I might argue that if you want to so when they put out, this is not animated, but when they did the Netflix series of Unfortunate Events, right? They talked about making it like this really long running thing, but the cast and crew were all really dedicated to doing like the absolute best job that they could on the 3 seasons that they were going to have, and saying like, we're going to put 150% effort for this much time, and then we're done.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you just mostly need to decide, are you going to have a show that like you're working on a little bit like for the rest of your life, or are you going to have something that you just like power through and get it all done?
Yeah.
And just
make a
create like a finished product. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I feel like trying to do both is not going to work.
I feel like shows are definitely starting to move more towards that now. I still feel like it's a rather new concept. Maybe around the time the series of Unfortunate Events did it, but like The Mandalorian, I mean, honestly, with that they could stretch it a bit longer, but as I was talking about before, the first trailer for WandaVision just came out last night, and that I'm expecting like all of these Marvel shows that are set to come out soon. I'm expecting they're going to be like, okay, we're following this story and we're going to connect it to the movies and all that, and maybe to the other shows, but it's not going to try to be
10 seasons long.
Yeah. Sure. I feel like because of the way that we watch TV and we market TV these days, with most of it happening on the internet, I feel like it's given creators the ability to sort of just like have a story and present the story they want to show. And like some people are going to be really into it and some people aren't, but like you don't have to fight for, I assume there's not as much fighting for a spot on Netflix as there is fighting for a primetime spot on a TV channel, right? So like you could just create something that is the story you want to say, the story you want to tell, and then put it out there, and we'll just have it be like one season. It doesn't have to be something that's successful like on TV or ongoing or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is why you're also getting a lot more like limited series.
Yeah, back in the day it was, and even so more so now, it's really hard to get a show to last for so long. You have to compete with so much else and be able to afford what you want to put out there.
Yeah.
But bringing it back to animated shows, a lot of these last for 30 minutes they have 30-minute time slot, but 22 minutes. Sometimes they're broken up in the shorts of 11 minutes long. So you can make your jokes, tell your little story, and be done with it, or and then just put it out there, and it makes so much. And a lot of these shows do really well on computer or a digital format too, because you can just watch them wherever, watch them on YouTube, and don't have to burn through so much data or gigabytes to watch the episode that you want to watch.
But I also feel like the difference between sort of these long-running, more episodic shows and the ones that are shorter and more like story arc based is also kind of like with the rise of binging. I feel like the story-based ones are going to be more popular because it's like I just am into this story. I want to know what happens next. Like that sort of stuff works really well towards binging. And the things that's more episodic is more like, I'll just put on an episode of Simpsons while I clean the kitchen kind of thing.
Or just
so they both have
like background noise stuff.
Yeah, they both have sort of unique roles in 2020 technology.
Yeah.
Sure. And, just talking about like the binging thing, it's, of course, I know there are plenty of shows now that do this. At least I'm assuming. Maybe I just stick to a few that I really love. Of course, it made me think of BoJack Horseman as a prime example. That had, I feel like I should know this answer. I think 7 seasons. And it was, again, it's very story driven. It's definitely a binging show where, there is, it's kind of an interesting mix, actually, if I think about it. Some things you definitely need to watch in order because they will bring it back in maybe a bit more natural kind of flow of a way. But a lot of things also happen in such a way where it's like each episode can be its own contained thing, but it definitely flows in such a way that kind of has you hooked and really wanting to binge it.
Yeah. Hannah, you mentioned about social commentary, or how they stay kind of in tune with what's current events or what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I really liked about when I first started watching Family Guy, was just all the pop culture references they made. As someone who wasn't really exposed to a whole lot when they were like had to kind of wait till like high school to kind of be exposed to all that. That was really good. And I feel like they try to do a good job now, and all in the other shows as well. They try to do a good job of bringing in, like, making references, or
to
trying
me,
to spoof and parody things.
But to me, that's the quality of it that makes it less appealing to binge and more appealing to just like watch the newest episode every Thursday or whatever. So every episode is like what is currently going on, rather than being like, I'm just going to sit down and like watch a whole season and get the whole story.
But
a
it's
little bit of a different sort of thing.
But it's usually, Hunter, you can probably you've probably seen this too, that it's only like a few episodes each season that does like heavy social commentary, or they'll do an episode themed around this political issue, which American Dad seems like is more so for that. Futurama does. I remember Futurama doing that every so often. Family Guy doing that every so often. But mostly the stories are kind of self-contained in their universe of the characters just interacting with one another.
Yeah.
Arthur was one of the all ages shows that had a lot of episodes that talked about some real issues. And I remember
They weren't timely issues. They were, I'm guessing, timeless issues.
Yeah. And I remember there was a lot of shows growing up that had the PSAs afterwards that I was like, oh, this is they're talking about something that's real and something that I didn't really understand a lot about, but they made it so I could understand it. Yeah. How do we feel about characters aging? We usually see like a birthday episode for a character, or a character, doing some, having this graduation type thing. But a lot of these characters don't really age. How do we feel about that?
It's interesting, how it's handled a bit differently. Because as you said, some characters, they just like really stay the same age for an entire run of a show. And some will be like, the first thing I'm thinking of is The Simpsons, where they, like, the kids all seem to be the same age forever. But then you have like South Park, where I think they're 8 years old for like most of the run. And then at one point, like in season, I don't even know what, 20 or so, maybe after that, 23 or something, Stan, I think, has like his 10th birthday. And it's a whole thing about that. And they continue it for a little bit, but and so you obviously see characters age sometimes, but it's a lot of times it's not necessarily a big thing that's made to stick. It's just kind of an episode,
There's a game theory on YouTube on how old is Ash Ketchum.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because how old is he when he leaves his house?
10.
Yeah, like 10, something like that. But then the show's been going on for however long, and he's going through all these adventures, and like I think there might be something about seasons changing and stuff like that. And Matt Pat goes into like all of this stuff about like trying to figure out how old Ash is, and it's like, yeah, there's some aging that should have been happening here and has not, and it's kind of weird. But okay.
Yeah, he's just and I think the explanation for that is they want him to, be present or be the same age as like a young kid starting with, getting into Pokemon. And
so you get it, but at the same time, like, we're kind of at that age where I think a lot of us might have watched Pokemon as kids, and now we're adults and we're just like
present.
They're still children, and like it's okay. It's kind of weird.
He's still a kid. He's still making these same mistakes. He's still not using an Ultra Ball when he's still using a Pokeball when he's shooting.
Because when it first started, he's like a peer to you, right? And now you're just like, you stupid, like punk kid. Get your stuff together.
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
Get with it.
But we all know Ash, hit his head really hard and is stuck in a fantasy world where he is always 10 years old.
Well, that's fun. It's a good perspective.
Yeah. Let's see. How does the animation style affect the outcome of the show? Has there been an animation style that isn't appealing to y'all?
That isn't appealing?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe some.
I've
some
not
classic, I guess, like PBS stuff, like Arthur. That kind of thing just never appealed to me. I don't know. I think it was because it felt very, I don't know, washed down, and I don't know. It felt kind of boring to me. I like things that are a little more interesting, a little more original, like Rick and Morty. It has a lot of character to it, It has like the weird eyes and everything, and some very kind of outlandish features. But
most characters have some kind of genitalia look to them.
Sure.
Yeah, they do.
I wouldn't have thought of it like. And I like South Park's like particularly like very specific crappy look to it. Very intentional crappy look. I think that's
very amateur kind of style to their characters.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like I have much of a preference on animation. I feel like it's more the type of stories they tell. I'm not just generally not into what I would call like mostly comedy based sort of, I don't know, I almost want to call it slice of life, which is not really a term that we use a whole lot, but like, just people going about their lives. And obviously I know South Park is crazy. I'm aware, but like just not, I don't know. It's more the content that's not up my alley than the animation, I think.
So, okay, Hannah, I mean, I get that. I was kind of the same way. I was kind of the same way again before I got into it, but then I started watching it and I was hooked pretty quickly.
I've told you guys I want my shows to have dragons in them.
Well, there are dragons in that, and
dragons.
The dragons are coming. They're gonna be here eventually. Never mind. That's a reference you will not get.
No. I don't know. It's just not my kind of thing. But I mean, I don't judge you guys for enjoying it.
Well, I actually haven't really been into South Park myself. I mean, I watched a few episodes just because of the jokes they were made. Well, just because of what was in that particular episode. I think I will try to watch a few random ones just to see what they said about this particular topic or this particular event, because they have made some funny jokes.
I also am just not super into, I guess what I would call a little bit more of a crass sense of humor.
Crude humor.
Raunchy.
Yeah, just all of that. Yeah. I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I'm the kind of, I've always felt that like when
you like clean, childish humor.
Not necessarily. I feel like using like potty language or foul language or whatever is just like a cop out, and it's not like actually funny. It's just like, oh, he said a bad word.
They did an episode actually entirely based around that.
Did they?
Around the fact that people use foul language in TV shows just to get viewership.
Mhm.
Right, yeah, and I'm
They
just
did a
like,
whole
Which they
episode
do.
about that, and it was
Yeah.
hilarious.
I feel like I've seen some like stand-up comedians who, like, their whole thing is that they, say bad words, right?
Yeah,
And I'm like, they're not funny. You're just cussing.
you're using sentence enhancers.
Yeah, not into it. Be more clever. Be more clever. There's better
Yeah.
ways to do that.
Yeah, maybe actually, you can actually like shriek like a dolphin or something like that.
I was gonna say, if you did that,
That's
would
funny.
I have to bleep that out? Because that's cursing,
If you,
right?
well, if you were a dolphin, if you spoke dolphin, or if you were a dolphin, yeah, you might have to.
Yeah.
No, I love one of my favorite stand-up comedians is Eliza Schlesinger, and she
She's great.
she makes fun of white girls all the time, which is great because she's a white girl, and she makes like sheep noises. She's like me when describing how white girls sound. I'm like, yeah, that's fair.
Okay. That's what I heard
Great.
when
It's
you were
great.
talking. Yeah.
I know.
But back to animation.
Sorry.
You can also know, how do you guys like the transition from like hand drawn to digital?
I mean, if you do it right,
Yeah.
you probably won't notice a huge difference. It might just be cleaner.
I mean,
Yeah,
I really
yeah.
enjoyed
Less goofs.
Code Lyoko back in the day.
Yeah.
Like,
Which had
South
both.
Park, South Park it's entirely digital. You might not know just based on watching it, although it's more obvious these days
Yeah.
than it was. But
Yeah. I think Family Guy and Simpsons and definitely SpongeBob and some of these other ones have seen the transition from hand drawn to digital, and I think it does help with keeping goofs from happening in an episode, and maybe making it a little more palatable to younger audiences.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they go hand they kind of go hand in hand. But to wrap up, what do we think will be the next show, or what animated shows are creeping up to the 10 season mark, or you guys think that will pass on, go on to be, in the 20 seasons or maybe 30 seasons long?
Well, I think it's working its way there, but given their, how long it takes them to get seasons out, episodes out, it may be a while for Rick and Morty, but I want it to be.
Yeah, same here. They made that claim of, what was it, 70? What was it? How many seasons?
I don't know. They said
90 years or
90 years.
Lord
Yeah,
mercy.
I don't remember how many seasons, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Hannah, any prospects?
I don't know. No.
Would you want a show to last that long? Maybe 31 seasons? That's
I
not
don't
The Simpsons, or
watch shows that are out right now.
fine. I'll ask you about anime in
I'm trying to think of what I've been
Sometime soon.
watching recently that is not over. Because I've watched a good number of animated shows recently, but they've all wrapped up recently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
So I'm watching The Dragon Prince right now, and I know they're at this point they've signed a contract with Netflix, so they're gonna have 7 seasons.
Okay, that's promising.
Those often get extended, not always, but
we'll see. I don't think so, but I don't know. We'll see. So we're all waiting for season 4 of that currently. But they signed a contract for 7 seasons.
Did they get stalled with the pandemic? You think? Because I think
they did. Yeah,
they've had a good track record of every year new season.
And they had a new season within the last year, but I want to say it was at the end of 2019.
Yeah. Same for the
2020.
first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
I think it's a season. They just finished season 3.
Yeah, so I think they are pushed back a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can't think of any shows that I'm watching that are still going.
Well, another one for me. Sorry, Josh. I'm going to try to do this real quick, but one that I actually just thought of, because it's a little more linear in its storytelling, but also another Matt Groening show, Disenchantment, that's on Netflix. I don't know at this point if it's really so much that I want it to go on for so long, for as long as The Simpsons or anything, but it's at this point I feel like there's been a long time since the last season, since season 2. I think I want more of it because I'm so enticed by it.
Yeah. Shows with you have shows like Bob's Burgers and Family Guy and American Dad that are creeping up that far because they have seasons. They have their seasons come up every year. The other shows like Rick and Morty, and there was it was another show that I think it just got canceled.
What did?
It was another like show that took a long time for them to make. I cannot remember the name of it, but shows like Rick and Morty that take a long time to make their short seasons, but they can go on for years and years and years.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that we'll use that as the ending point for this episode. You guys have any other honorable mentions? Feel free to leave us a message or a comment.
We got an email. We got Facebook. We got Twitter.
Yeah.
We got everything.
Hannah has a fax machine.
Yeah.
I don't think I have a fax machine.
Oh, well, get one. Because
my husband got my printer working. So
Josh made a promise, Hannah. You have to have a fax machine now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, one of us has to have.
As soon as we start making money doing this, I'll buy a fax machine.
I'm gonna hold you to that.
Okay, that's.
We're gonna make like $1. Someone's gonna just donate $1, and I'm gonna be like, Hannah, go buy a fax machine.
There you go.
That doesn't count as making money.
Yes, it does.
No, I don't think so.
Your first $1. Our first $1.
No, I only get 33 cents of.
Yeah.
Wait, we're not splitting it like that.
Oh.
It's going on my wall. I'm hanging up my.
Well, no, I want part of it to go on my wall.
Okay, we'll cut the $1 into thirds, so you won't even get 33 cents. You'll get a third of $1.
That's I think maybe I'll just let you guys fight over it.
Cool.
Okay, Josh, $50 for each of us.
How about I get the $1 and then I make you a copy of it?
You can fax it to me.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, sure thing.
Yeah.
So that's it for this episode. What's going on next week?
Next week, we are doing Movie Quote Jeopardy. We're going to be doing some quiz stuff. I am going to try and do things that are pretty well known, but they are going to get more difficult as the prices go up. So it's going to be a good time. Join us next time.
All right.
I'm excited. I'm interested. I get to play this time. I didn't get to play last time.
Yeah.
Cool.
Everyone will have fun. But until then, everyone stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, be kind to one another, and as always, nerd out.
Bye.
Nerd out. See ya.